back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Welcome back, everyone. We're joined in the studio by James Holman. He's the owner of 540 Firearms and Self-Defense Training locally. Where are you located?
Tigard, Oregon.
Tigard, right in our backyard, everyone. Folks travel from all over to come train with you for a number of reasons. Number one, we've already mentioned it, is their facility that they have is one of a kind, where you can actually use non-lethal, of course, training, home clearing, building a plan, how to actually do things correct. I mean, I learned so much in a short period of time. I can't wait. I wish we could show the footage now. But there's more than that. You have your facility in Tigard, but you have another facility a little bit further south where you take folks and then you actually do live fire training as well. What's that entail?
So we do a lot of live fire training at local gun clubs in the Portland metro area, and then we have a private range down in the Sweet Home area, where we do more intermediate and advanced training down there as well.
Gotcha.
And again, it's all things firearms, from beginning through advanced. A lot of handgun training.
Sure.
There's more people who are buying handguns now than ever before.
Absolutely.
More females than ever before.
The largest group there is.
Yeah, 100%. Used to be our concealed carry classes were 90-10 male. Now they're about 50-50 male.
I love
female.
that.
And so we're just, and even political spectrum, people are coming to us all the time saying, I never thought I would have bought a gun.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I'm anti-gun, I'm scared of guns.
Sure.
And we're seeing a lot of those folks coming on board now.
Which I would thank you personally for teaching those folks. Number one, they end up loving them. Number two, they have a ton of fun. And number three, now they feel safe.
Yes.
It's 2024, everyone. I could go in a different direction here, but I'm not. So from start to finish, A to B, you're able to teach people from the very beginning to becoming very proficient with whatever weapon it is that they decide to protect themselves with and their family. This is what you brought in, and I find it very interesting because it's nearly exactly to what I have very, very close to me every single night at my home. What I find interesting here, this is a blue inert piece of plastic, everyone. It just has the light on it, and we'll get to this little fancy thing in just a second. But this is what you recommend that everybody has next to them.
Absolutely. So any place that you have a gun, especially in your home, for sure, people kind of get confused on what should I have with my gun or not. So there's this is the bare minimum. So number one, obviously, you should have your gun. Two, you need to have a light, whether it's weapon mounted or handheld. I prefer both because they do different things.
Sure.
We use lights for three reasons. Most importantly, for self-defense, we use it for identification.
Sure.
Someone's coming in your home at 2 in the morning. Your rods and cones in your eyes aren't activated yet. You're coming out of sleep. You need to be able to articulate they had a weapon. They were a threat. And you can't do that without a light.
Right.
Clearly, you need to have a spare magazine because magazines are mechanical. They can fail.
Sure.
And then we strongly recommend a tourniquet as well.
Yeah.
At least one, preferably two. The problem with gun owners is they go to the rock quarry or the range and they shoot and they think they're going to win and they don't think they're going to get hurt.
Sure.
And the reality is if you do get hurt, maybe you are able to kind of save the day or save your family, but you can still get hurt, get shot.
Sure.
Your help is 4 to 10 to 15 minutes away, and you can bleed out in just a couple minutes.
Right.
Tourniquets save lives. You talk to first responders, they save lives every single day.
Sure.
So always have a tourniquet. When you have a firearm, always have your tourniquet with you. So even if you're carrying concealed and you're walking through Costco, you should have a tourniquet with you, just because.
It makes perfect sense. Quite honestly, I was very well unaware of that until I was made aware of that by somebody that's much more advanced in these things than I am. Thank you, Billy. I appreciate that. But there's things that are changing now, along with a lot more people purchasing firearms these days, and that's for an entire show. If we wanted to, a completely different. There's a lot of reasons for that, but for folks that already have pistols, in particular, on this particular blue gun that you brought in, again, just a piece of plastic. This is just an inert tool. Everyone, you have a red dot. These are becoming very, very popular. I spoke with you a little bit about this. And I'm bringing this up because this is something that a lot of people are going to get very familiar with for a number of reasons. But I'm like, you know, my dad was a cop. I shot a revolver. I just haven't gotten into the red dot thing. You're pretty convinced that this is going to be a piece of the puzzle for a number of reasons. Absolutely.
25 years ago, ARs would be coming through a class. And a lot of iron sights. I can't remember the last time I saw an AR-15 without a red dot or some type of optic on top.
Sure.
5 years from now, every handgun, or almost every handgun, is probably going to have a red dot on top.
Why is that?
Because once you learn how to utilize it, it actually improves performance.
Gotcha.
At the end of the day, it's all about improving performance. However, it's very unique in that if you're used to shooting iron sights, you're very focused on your iron sights.
Yeah.
With a red dot, you're very focused on, you're very threat focused. You're not even looking at the dot itself, you're threat focused. So
Sure.
there's some adjustments. So a lot of people buy a red dot, they'll slap it on, and they're like, I can't find the dot.
Right.
I can't acquire that. I hate this thing.
Right.
Very quickly, we can get you through dot acquisitions and how that's going to enhance your performance. And all of a sudden, taking more accurate and precise shots further back and being able to do it faster is what that red dot's going to do for you.
My first experience with it was exactly what you said. I couldn't find a thing. I'm like, what? Where in the... Looking over it,
Yeah.
you know, like looking around it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a training thing, and
Absolutely.
that's what 540 does, right?
Yes.
Brings you up to speed on a lot of different things that can make you more proficient, safer, which when that all happens, that means your family is safer. And it doesn't matter what your age range is. 78-year-old woman was just in there being trained in a private capacity you mentioned real quickly?
Yeah, we do a lot of private. So introduction to handgun fundamentals. If someone doesn't even know what gun to buy, think of it like coming in and trying on shoes.
Sure.
And so we have a variety of guns you can try. We kind of fit the gun to you.
Sure.
Or maybe you just bought a firearm and you want to be trained on your firearm. And so
Sure.
we'll come in, do a 2.5-hour private with you, and get you up to speed.
Very interesting, and it's something that you can learn right there on their website, everyone, all the different features that they have available for you, different seminars, different training that you can experience, active shooter training. Again, these aren't for any sort of scare tactics. These are about just having the knowledge to do what it is that you want to do, which is to be proficient and, number one, feel safe, but be able to do that in a way that is actually safe, not something that you just think is safe. You've been trained, you understand, and now you and your family have a fallback position where if something bad did happen, it doesn't matter who you are, what it is, like you mentioned before. I hate guns, I understand, okay? But this is a way that no matter what happens, you have that knowledge. And the knowledge is the most important thing, maybe even more important than what it is that you have in your hand. Okay, so number one, great info. Number two, this is not the first time we're bringing you in, man. I really want to be able to learn more for myself. In a very short period of time, grew up in a military family, grew up with a father, Multnomah County Deputy Sheriff, 25 plus years. I've been around pistols my entire life. I've been around a number of individuals that will certainly make you understand levels of intensity and training that they go through. I literally figured out that I don't know a dang thing. It's just I had the basic idea. I know how to point and shoot, but in order to break down your own home, okay, to get a plan. And is that the best way to put it, to have a plan if something did go wrong?
Absolutely. So we talk about family or personal self-defense plans.
Sure. Sure.
We have a structure. It's a ranch-style home in our training facility, and the class is Home Invasion, Defense, and Education.
Yeah.
And we help you formulate that plan based on certain principles.
I'll say this, based on some of the videos that you saw here, and when you have the chance to go meet the folks over at 540 yourself, number one, you need to focus. It is certainly something that is very, very serious. But I honestly think you can have some fun with it as well while you're there training. And I know that they have some fun with it because how many instructors do you have?
6.
6.
6.
Okay, so
yes.
It's not a one-man show. This is a real deal. I mean, this is something that they've been doing for quite a while. I honestly think that you can go in there and learn. And the way I always learned better was if I was able to have a little bit of fun. And you are going to have the serious side of things, of course, must have. But you can also have some fun at the same time. Final thoughts, because we're down to our last minute or so. Last thing we can make sure that everyone's aware of our first time having you here in the studio.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, just come check us out. And again, just want to emphasize, just because you've got your concealed carry, that doesn't mean you can protect yourself safely or effectively.
Sure.
And so we always like to tell people, I hope it works out. And our response to that is hope is not a plan. Hope is not a plan.
Right.
You're going to do what you trained. That's just the science, the neuroscience behind it is under stress, you're going to do
Revert
exactly
back,
to what you trained. So if you haven't trained, you might not perform where you want to perform.
And in the end, what you've been doing for the last 10 years, and longer than that, for crying out loud, I know a little bit of this history. You've been helping people, one, protect their families, and I know that your training, we've already verified this, has helped people in those situations. So this is certainly something that you should look into, especially if you're like me and you want to make sure that you're as good as you can be when things go bad. And welcome to 2024. Things can go bad in a hurry. James, it was great to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure.
And I can't wait until we can show you some of the footage that we got. And I can't wait till I can go out and do a little range time with you.
It'd be awesome. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Love to have it.
All right, everyone, stick with us. When we come back, we're going to have your Chevy Silverado Tech Tip of the Week. And if you're like me, you're preparing all your gear for our upcoming waterfowl season, And specifically, it's about decoy setup. We'll be back with that in just a couple minutes.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. And by Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective.